Hey everybody, I want to run something by you guys for the next few minutes. Maybe see what you guys think about this. I think we're all on the same page here, even if we can't see it right now. Let's say, for example, there's a man who may not be the best man that he can be for his wife or his girlfriend. Maybe he doesn't let her have her own money. Maybe he doesn't let her leave the house. Maybe he doesn't let her have any friends or contact with her family. For all intents and purposes, she is completely dependent upon him. And God forbid she says anything about it, because that's probably not going to turn out very well for her. Even without laying hands on her, any professional family therapist will tell you that that is an abusive relationship. But let's throw a plot twist in there. Let's say one day he actually is abusive, physically abusive. Maybe he says to her, "I'm going to kill you." Oh, look, we have a visitor here. This is Missy, my cat. So he puts hands on her, says, "I'm going to kill you." This man becomes physically abusive to her. She can't possibly fight him off. He's bigger than she is. He's stronger. He's likely more experienced in the physical arena. She doesn't stand a chance, especially if he really sets out to kill her. Now, you might say, why doesn't she just leave? Well, look, I'm not going to get into the psychology of that, but there are countless examples of women in abusive relationships who literally could not leave that relationship for whatever reason. And this is a large part of why abusive men isolate their wives, isolate their girlfriends. Don't let them have money, don't let them drive, don't let them leave the house or have contact with anybody. This is why it keeps them from leaving that relationship. But I'm not going to get too deep into the woods there. I'm definitely not going to challenge a woman in this situation, question her decisions and all of this, because I'm just not qualified to do any of that, and I don't think any of us are. The point is, he sets out to kill her one day, beating her to death, strangling her, whatever the case it is. But here's a plot twist. She grabs a knife, or maybe his pistol, and she kills him. What do we say to her? Do we tell her, "Good job, nice shooting, nice shot. You defended yourself. You had every right to defend yourself"? Do we love her and support her through that? Or do we tell this lady, "You're a murderer. You're a killer. You had no right to defend yourself. You should have let him strangle you to death. You should have let him beat you to death"? What do we say to this lady? Let's change it up a little bit. She's a 13-year-old girl. She's your daughter on her way home from school. And she meets somebody, a kidnapper, a child rapist, killer, human trafficker, And he comes up behind this 13-year-old girl, your daughter, your little sister. And he's got a whole trunk full of bad news for her. But she pulls a knife, or even a pistol, and she kills her attacker. What do we say to this girl? What do we say to this child? Do we tell her, nice shot? Or do we accuse her and call her a killer? Do we stare this little girl in the face and tell her, you are a murderer, you are only 13 years old, you had no legal right to defend yourself? Do we really look at this lady or this young girl and tell her, you should have gone with him. You should have allowed him to kidnap you, throw you into the van, and sell your tender cherry all over the world to the highest bidder. You should have allowed him to kidnap you and use you up and then kill you. What do we say to her? A criminal seeks to deprive you of your life, of your freedoms, of your pursuit of happiness. By definition, that's what they're doing. A tyrant does the same thing. He seeks to deprive you of all of your human, natural rights. So, what do we say to those people who choose to arm themselves so that they can, if the need should arise, defend themselves from criminals or otherwise tyrants? What do we say to them? Do we tell them that they are criminals, that they are violent mongers? When they're just seeking to defend themselves, should the need arise? I'm going to leave it right there. But I really don't think that any one of us, anywhere in the world, is going to look on somebody who defended themselves against a violent tyrant who seeks to deprive you of your life and your freedoms and say you are a killer. Let that sink in.